What's good, people of YouTube? Back with you another YouTube video. It's your Manny. I'm here stuck in the house. I'm sure everyone else is too. Just chilling, going through all my stuff. A little bit of soda. But all seriousness, my condolences go out to all the people who are affected by this pandemic, and I just pray and hope that we can all recover from this and moving forward. I haven't been done a YouTube video haven't created a YouTube video in a while. It's because in the beginning of the year, I'm an accountant, and so I have to deal with a lot of year-end close, a lot of the getting ready for the financials and the taxes. So that took some time, and then not only that, when this stuff happened, so I can't even do it even more now. And I promised my wife I wouldn't go out until the shelter-in-place has been lifted off. That way, to think about the safety of myself, to see about the others. End of the day, we should start thinking about each other. We're all live in the same country. We should all think about other people. We're all family. End of the day, if you think about it here. So, what I want to talk about is surf fishing gear and tackle and stuff. The reason why I want to talk about this is because when I first started out, there are YouTube videos, obviously a whole bunch out there. I took in the time to contact people from like the East Coast, and it's also local people here, what they like. And after over the years of surf fishing, gosh, how long has it been? I started like 5-6 years ago, and it's been truly fun. I've been hooked. I'm a true believer that surf fishing is one of the funnest sports that's out there. Hooking up to a striper on the ocean, and they're tagging, they're taking a line, plus the whole ripping the current and everything. Oh man, it's just so fun. Taking the time to try to, after it could be a 10 cast, could be 100 casts, could be 1,000 casts. So the next time you get a striper, so the pursuit of it is addicting. So I love it. When I first started, I just want to give a backstory. Is that I started with like this cheap old Walmart brand looking thing that I got from my brother, and it was like a spinning rod setup, and I put a bait caster on it. So I don't know how I was able to catch some fish, but the load up was really odd because it's not designed for that. But I was able to catch one of my biggest stripers. It's not big for a lot of people, but it was big for me still. It's one of the biggest fish I've caught. It was 35 inches, and it was roughly about like 10 to 15, 12 pounds, something like that. And that was like, oof. The first year I started, 5-6 years ago. And yeah, over the years I've been trying to take some time to figure out what works best for me, and over the years, and what's efficient, what's really good, because there used to be a point where I bring too much stuff and not the correct things, and not doing my research. And so hopefully this can help other viewers who watch this to see this might help them out with the approach, or just in general, just seeing what people are using out there in the surf. By all means, this is not showing off about my gears or anything. This is just me wanting to educate some surf fishermen who are out there, and hopefully they can help them out too. Cool. So let's begin. First thing is first is my surf rod. The surf rod I finally invested in and pulled the trigger is a St. Croix Surf Legend. This is a 10.5 feet medium powered action, which is 10 to 20 pounds. Makes it 3/4 to 4 ounces, and this thing is super lightweight. I mean, goodness, man, this is wow, one of the lightest setup I ever had around this size, and the power behind it, man, is awesome. I think even though it's rated for 3/4 to 4 ounces, 2 ounces in my opinion works the most efficient for this type of setup. And so, man, this thing is just awesome. The way how it casts my line and everything, the lures, it just shoots out. So super, really good. But you have to also learn how to cast too. So it is a learning curve for people who are first starting, understanding the correct approach and how to cast in general. You don't just throw let's say if you're right, you don't just throw your right hand. No, you pull down with your left hand, and you use your right hand, but you thrust the bottom part of your rod with your left hand to really get that nice power. And over a period of time, you'll understand what I'm talking about. To be more efficient, you'll feel less fatigue, and you're able to cast further. Yeah, this is what I like to use. Before this, I was using it's made by Shimano. I forgot his name. The owner of Shimano. Not Shimano. Goodness, what is this called? Oh, let's go in here. this one? Well, anywho, it's a TFO surf rod. For all you guys know the TFO brand. And I had that one, and that worked really, really well. But I needed something that was a little longer, more powerful, and that wasn't cutting it, so I beefed it up a little bit. And before that, again, was that cheap old setup. And my opinion, this is one of the best surf fishing rods on the market. If you ask 15 different surf fishermen, you'll get probably 15 different answers of what's the best setup for a rod for them. This just works for me. Other people work other things, so this is what I recommend if you're really going to get heavily involved in surf fishing. Next is the reel. The reel I finally picked up was a 2015, I think this one is a, excuse me, is a Daiwa Saltiga. Yes, it is expensive too, but again, investments, and I needed something that's really, really smooth, really powerful too. And my opinion, this Saltiga was perfect for me. Once I got it, man, boy, it's amazing. Even like the knob on it, it's really big and substantial. It's really strong. Just holding this thing feels like a straight tank. Not too heavy, but you can feel the weight and the quality of everything. The drag system is nice and smooth. The clicker is nice and satisfying when you click it. Oh man, and the mag seal is just amazing on this thing. I love it. I had this for roughly 3 or 4 years, and I actually got this first before I got the rod. And I love this reel. It's such a great fishing reel. It's like a one and done for me when it comes to surf fishing. I recommend getting something that's good quality. You don't have to go up this expensive, obviously. But if you're really involved, you could take the time to getting like a Shimano, I forgot what it's called, but it's a surf fishing reel a lot of people like to use, and this one. And Van Stalls are really popular too now. So, you know, there are different options. You know, you figure out which one works for you. But for me, this worked really, really great. And same thing too, I have braid on my fishing line. If you ask 20 different fishermen, you get, again, 20 different answers. For me, I use Power Pro Max Grow. I forget what it's called exactly, but this is like the thinner lineup that they have. So, for example, if you have 50-pound test, it's like getting a 40-pound or 30-pound test braided line. So it's thinner, but with the same strength. And so that's what I have in mind. I have 40 pounds, and it's like having 30-pound test braid, because the thinner the braid goes, the further you can cast. And a lot of people like to have 20 pounds to 30 pounds braid, but for me, I don't know why, I just like the extra 40. Just my preference. And moving on to my tackle bag and stuff, I finally invested in a good surf fishing bag. And I used to use just a straight up backpack and just like one of these like tackle boxes, and just putting a whole bunch of stuff on there. And it worked really well, but the thing was I kept carrying way too much stuff because I didn't know what to bring the first year of fishing. And you know, sometimes I bought like the incorrect things. I'll use stuff for pretty much meant for like the delt or something that's like really light, and if I would cast it, you know, the wind was so strong it'll push it right back, and then I have a bird's nest. So this is a setup I like to use. I like to keep it small, compact, but there are a lot of lures in here, and I'll show you in the whole setup, and it's super efficient. First things first is the bag itself. Very good quality. I had this for a long time too, about 4 years. You can see there's like some saltwater corrosion right here. I'm really rough on my gear, but it's been holding up really, really strong, and I love this thing. Nice and strong, heavy duty. Something I really recommend someone getting into surf fishing is one of these, a leader bag that holds all your leaders. And this is super effective, super efficient to getting onto the water fast, because my whole idea was how to get onto the water quicker, efficiently, without, you know, taking too much time. And I have all my leaders here ready to go. Just put my rod and reel together, line it up, add this thing, tie a knot, and clip the extra line, and you know, I'm good to go with this. This is really, really good. This is a really good brand. Highly recommend it. And then on the side, I have a pliers. Obviously, you need good quality pliers. I got these on sale at Walmart. I think it was like 50% off. So it was such a good deal. And then I have these fish grips. Now, these aren't the name brand ones. These are generic ones from eBay I got years ago. And I think I only spent like 30 bucks, 40 bucks, I forget exactly. But the quality is just as good as the fish grips. And I highly recommend someone getting type of fish grip. You can get the plastic ones if you like. That works just as good. But personally for me, I want something that's holding onto it won't kick. Because before, when I held it, tried to grab the fish with my hands, the fish will kick back and then sand gets hecka into my eyes and that hurts. And I was really trying to avoid that, and I figured out fish grips work, and it worked out really, really well. On the side here, if I open it up, I have, I can get it out. Give me a second. A stringer. That way, once I catch a fish, I can attach it to myself or onto the beach. And then also measuring tape to make sure the catch is legal size. Alright. So, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bucktails, and they're all different shapes and sizes and different colors. And then on this side, I have a whole bunch of Castmasters, and I have one Mickey jig in here, which is right here. And they're bucktails, different colors and different sizes. I have a 2.2, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plenty of space in this little bag to put a lot of lures in here. And then the plugs I use, these are just my go-to. And then I have more lures here that I take with me based on the conditions and the surf. And these just work for me over the years, and I just keep them on hand. So first things first, I always have 2 poppers. These are the sinking ones. I cast far too. I mean, these you cast these out, they launch so super far. I've caught a 28-inch striper on this thing in the shallows, and man, these things work really well. I thought these only work for the East Coast, but man, this works out here in the West Coast, out in Ocean Beach in California. And yeah, I was shocked. I was forever hooked when I hooked up to one. So poppers work really well. I have 2 different colors, just chartreuse and white. Or excuse me, they're both the same color. Excuse me, because they have like the red spot. And then pull up here. I have different types of SB minnows. Goodness, give me a second again. I have the bone, and then I have the natural chrome, and then I have more in here, sorry. I have the chartreuse in white too. And these are the bigger ones. Normally you'll get the, I forget what size, 6 inch, and this is 6.5, and there's like a huge weight difference and size difference, as you can see. And these are a good all-around lures just to cast out when you're plugging. And if I'm going, 9 times out of 10, I'm always fishing in the night. I don't know why. It just, when I fish, nighttime just works way better for me. And I always bring a dark plug just in case if it gets too dark. I always switch out, and it works really well for me. Now, something that works really well one year when there was I think it's called a Blitz, was a mag darter from Yozuri, and my goodness, I swear, with this action, it like darts, and I swear almost every cast I was hooking up. And I that night, when I had that, I caught at least 10 of them during that hour, and it was so much fun. And I will always forever have a mag darter in my bag, and it works really well too. Almost all my lures, I always change out the setup. I use the VMC 4-strong, and then I also change out the split ring. And I just got the split rings I got from eBay. I just got the big thick ones, and they all work really well. And the VMC 4x strong is very affordable. I recommend to always change out your your tackle to make sure you get the maximum strength, so you don't get any tackle failure. And here, like I said, I got Castmasters, the 2-ounce with the bucktail. I have a whole bunch of these. And if I take everything out, which I'm not going to, you can see how much lures and stuff this little bag can hold, and how many how much stuff it can hold in here. And this is really nice and light. I just put it on the side of me when I'm casting out. Boom, 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 good to go. And now these just work for me. There are other people that use other types of things. Like here, I'll pull some up right here because I have more lures here. Some people like the Shimano one right here. Some like the Orco people like. And then something that worked really well for me, and I won 4th place in the More Than Fishing tournament a couple years ago, was Slab Zone. I was not a believer because it just looks like a cheap old, rubber piece, but it works, man. The tight motion and vibration the stripers love, and it hooked up. And I always keep a couple with me at all times. Like I said, depending the tide and the season, the tide and the time of the day and stuff, I would adjust the tackles and everything based on what I have here, based on the surf conditions. If it's too rough, I actually have bigger slab zones. I have yet to catch anything from a Seville, but I know people on the East Coast use it, so one day I'll catch one. And then I have more here, more poppers, all this stuff. More metals to throw out. But this is just a simple setup that I have that works really, really well. For waders, I use a frog tog setup, and then for my jacket, I always use the Tsunami Stormer jacket, and I usually have the sun guard from Stormer and a hat and some shades, and then I have like the sun guard from Sims and something to keep my face and hands covered from the sun, which prevents from skin cancer. I would highly recommend getting floral leader. I use 40 pounds also, and getting some decent barrel swivels, and get these tactical angler clips. I mean, this thing is man, you can change out lures all the time with ease. I hate seeing people using knots and stuff, and it takes, in my opinion, too much time to change lures. I'll give you a quick example. So let me just get this one right here. I could do it in one hand. Let's see. So example. There you go. Boom. The clip is on. Boom, boom. It's easy enough if you just unclip it right here, snip it off, and then move on to the next one. So let's put the Castmaster on, and then boom, it's on. See? And if you're using a Castmaster, I highly recommend putting a big ring and then adding a barrel swivel. That way it's easy to just clip on your clip, because once I did that, it's super easy to clip on and off of it. That's another little tip that I learned from myself. Yeah, I noticed with the fluorocarbon setup leader, give myself like 18 inches to 2 feet, gives it a better presentation. And yeah, overall, it's been a fun several years figuring out what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And I mean, it only takes me just like a couple minutes just to get on. As soon as I get off the car, I just put my waders on, my jacket, and then literally just put my rod and reel, put the line out, and put this thing, and put a lure on, because it's so easy to clip on. Like, I'm good to go. I'm out. I'm already about to start fishing. And I see some fishermen taking too much time figuring out what they want to bring and what they're using, or not using, but figuring out what they want to put in their bag sometimes, and then it just takes too long. It's all about efficiency. I know this is a long video, but this is just a quick overview of what worked for me. And if you have any questions, just hit me up. I know I was a little random about it, but this is just some stuff that I use when I go surf fishing. Hope this helped, guys.